Hello, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. Welcome back to another AI Talks. Today, we're trying something a bit different, a podcast style video. So, today, I want to talk about what is AI from a perspective of a student who studied or majored in AI. Right. This podcast shouldn't be technical, but it's just something to enlighten or spark some insights and hopefully interesting discussions about AI. Yeah? Right. So, what is AI? I would say, from a student's perspective, AI is something, okay, we're not gonna do it technical. It's something that we train, right? Or we give it examples, right, of how we want it to perform, right? And it could be trained in different areas. It could be trained through text, it could be trained through audio, it could be trained through pictures, images. And then what we do as students is try to go around and find like a set of data, or we try to find something that is similar to what we want the AI to perform like, right? So for example, let's say we want our AI to be trained in medical data. So to take in medical data to find a pattern. Okay, I feel like I'm already going technical. But this is how our projects were like when we were like, studying. So we were always given a problem statement. So there is something happening, something is going on, and we want to solve this problem. Okay? I'll give you a very simple example. Okay? So let's say we have a lot of data about students who are enrolling to university, okay? And let's say I'm working there at that university, and then I was approached to solve this issue that they were having. They were not sure who to accept to the university because all of them had like different good and bad aspects in their data. So let's say some students got really good grades, but they were not doing well in things that are not related to academics, which also are like taken into account when they are accepted to the university, right? So when there's like a lot of data, it can get overwhelming to the person dealing with this data, which is where AI can come in. They can take all this data and they won't feel overwhelmed. They are there to cover up for our own weaknesses. We get tired, we get overwhelmed, we make mistakes. Of course, AI still make mistakes now, but the ultimate aim is to have AI that does not make mistakes. Right. So then I'll be like, okay, let's see what we can do about this. So I look at the data and it's a lot. Thousands, I'm talking thousands of rows and then hundreds of columns, all this data. How am I going to be able to determine which of these students are eligible to be accepted to the university? Right. So I can just, feed it to the AI and it'll tell me, no, that's not correct. That's not correct. Right. So what we are taught is that we need to prepare the data. How do we prepare the data? Right. We make sure that the AI won't be overwhelmed by it too. Not because it's actually going to be overwhelmed. No, because it needs the data to be formatted in a certain way, whereas it'll be able to actually understand it. Because if I feed it this data, this raw data, without it being formatted correctly, it won't be able to analyze it. It won't be able to understand it. It's as if I'm giving it the data in a different language. Although, yes, some of the AI right now can understand different languages. But what I'm referring to is as if, how machines understand, zeros and ones. I'm giving it in letters instead. So it won't be able to analyze this data. Okay? Right. So now what I need to do from my side, the human side, is to prepare the data for it. Maybe in the future we'll have AI that prepares data. That is possible. But for now, that's not the case, right? So now I perform data preparation. I format it in the correct way. I make sure that it is understandable for the AI. So we need to understand the AI. We need to understand how the AI works in order to be able to work with it. Yeah. And right now, at this stage, it is still a tool. It's used as a tool. Yep. It's not using us or replacing us yet. Right. That's not the point. Okay. So after data preparation, we can feed it the data. Okay. So I'll give it the data. Again, this was one of my projects when I was a student. We were given a very large data set and we were told to format it. And then we were also building the AI model. Okay, so this one can be a very simple AI model, it could be a very complex model. So our model was doing like very simple comparisons, okay? So it will take in, let's say, from all these students, take their marks or like their grades from this subject, let's say, and take their marks or their grades from this subject and compare which of these students, based on that, performed better in this other aspect, right? So it was all data analysis where we were taking different parts of the data, comparing them, and trying to understand patterns, right? Because there should be patterns, right? For example, let's assume if there is this subject A that a person who did not pass 5 subjects or more won't be able to enroll to it, then we will understand that if some of the students were not enrolled, it means that they did not pass these 5 subjects. So this gives us insight, something like that, right? So what AI will help us do is to go through all this data for us instead of us manually going through it. It'll go through it and it'll give us the insight. It'll give us exactly what we need to know, right? So it saved us time and it did it efficiently and it probably wouldn't make mistakes when it comes to things like this, right? So right now, this is what AI is good at. Okay, so now let's say we got the insights, we figured out the patterns and everything. So what now? Now we can make decisions based on that, right? So how did the AI help us? What was the role of the AI? The role of the AI was to go through all this data and help us, scheme through it in a way and give us the insights that we needed to make decisions. Yes. So this what like the projects would look like when it comes to, studying AI. We we work a lot with preparing the data and then we work on building a model, or in some cases, something called fine tuning a model, where a model is already trained using other data that is not related to our specific case. So fine tuning it would mean we use our own data to train this model that is already built so that it is tailored to our specific case. Yeah. But then we also have a lot of different aspects when it comes to AI. It's not just that. We have NLP, which is training the AI to talk like humans in a way, or like, through text. And a simple example to that would be ChatGPT. ChatGPT is using the NLP aspect of AI, and now it's introducing speech to text as well. And, it's introducing images, taking in when like attaching files and analyzing the image and screenshots and things like that. That is image recognition or computer vision also is another AI element where it's related to understanding images. Yeah, that is a whole different story and it's really, really interesting. I'll briefly touch on my final year project as an AI student. My project, the title was An Emotionally Intelligent AI System that Uses Computer Vision and NLP to Help with Mental Health. Yeah, so my passion lies within technology and psychology, and I saw that AI was the perfect mix for these two, right? And so I wanted to have a project where I am not just interested in, but passionate about as well. I like the idea of using AI to help with mental health, whereas like I see the importance of journaling. I see the importance of talking about things that are bothering you and to seek help when you need it, right? So I worked on building an application and I've implemented these two AI elements. The first one being computer vision, where I looked through a lot of different models and I already found a model that was trained to read emotions. So you live, like it would be live. You would open your camera and it will read your emotion clearly. Yeah. So if it wasn't accurate, let's say you are testing this model that you found online and it wasn't accurate, it didn't read emotions well, that means it needs fine tuning, it needs more data. Maybe it was trained on faces that are not similar to yours. That means it will be able to read the emotions of these images that it was trained on, but not yours or other people, because it wasn't trained on a variety of different faces. So it would be harder for it to recognize. It didn't form the insights and patterns that it needs to be able to analyze, these different faces and understand or detect which emotion, right? So the model that I was using, it wasn't 100% accurate, of course. It gave like a 70 to 80 accuracy. You had to be extreme with your expressions, which is what I noticed about the data that was used to train it. Of course, they do add it there so that you see what type of data it was trained on. So I checked it and I see like when it comes to anger, you need to have your eyes wide, your eyebrows crossed and like not crossed, but like frown, like the frowning expression was really extreme and you had to have your mouth open for it to detect that you were angry. So like a subtle anger expression wouldn't cut it, right? But I still went for it because because at the time, you're a student, you were not expected to have this really, really perfect project. All what mattered was you had something that you could get results with, and you understood how it worked, and you were able to explain it better. It's always good to have something where there's always room for improvement, so that you can also talk about that and how you can improve it. So the point here would be how you would improve it would be to train it with more various different faces so that it can be able to detect different expressions on different people, right? So I don't want this application to only be able to help one person or just to help me if it was only trained on my face. No, it needs to be able to help other people as well. That's one aspect. The other aspect was the NLP aspect, and this one I really love. And I have videos about it on my channel as well. And that is the chatbot. Yep. So chatbot, just like how, talking to ChatGPT, your assistant, the NLP is all about using language to communicate, which is, English in this case. So I built the chatbot from scratch. The aim of this chatbot on the application was to help the user figure out which features on the application can help them according to which emotion they're feeling. Let's say the user will, go on the on the chatbot and say, I am feeling sad. So the word sad will trigger something, right? It will trigger something for the chatbot. It will know when I read the word when I read the word sad, it means I need to tell the user this, and that. I give it different options to tell the user because if I give it just one option, it means like whenever the user says they're sad, they're just going to say the same thing, which might feel unnatural. We want to make it sound as natural as possible. Yeah? So then it will tell it, okay, I'm sorry you're feeling sad. Here are things you can do on the app to help you feel better. Would you like to explore these options? Something like that, you know? So, yeah, I would say we can end this episode here, this podcast, one of the episodes. No, seriously. Um, I'm hoping I can make this a series where I come and talk about AI and what it's like to be an AI student, an AI software engineer, or a completely different perspective AI from just the person's perspective, not as an AI software engineer or as a maybe it will be less technical, that one as well. I was aiming for this one to be less technical. But anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you enjoy these type of videos, please let me know. And hopefully I can also take in different topic suggestions. And perhaps in the future, I'll have guests to talk with me about AI or about anything related to the AI or other topics, maybe. Who knows? In any case, again, thank you and see you soon.